Okay, great. So it's 2 o'clock right now. So I just want to say thank you everyone for coming on today. I think slowly people will start to come on. We'll give them a little bit more time, maybe like a couple more minutes, just to jump on, and that way, you know, we don't miss the good stuff of the call. Yeah, give them a second. And then I will have everyone muted. And when I go through the question per city, if you want to just unmute yourself, that way we can hear everybody. Okay, awesome. Cool. Okay. All right. We have such a great group of panelists here. I'm so excited. Uh, and I've actually never met any of you, well, except Jesse in person at the Miami retreat.
At the coffee bar, right? Like just
Yeah.
random.
I can't believe I haven't met you guys at the Miami retreat.
Yeah. Well, you were repping your hometown. You had to be all over the place, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great retreat. It was so fun.
I was so bummed about Austin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Cool. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I just want to say again, we have such a great panel of agents here today. We're going to be talking about the market details in Chicago, New York, Nashville, Miami, and Los Angeles. And we have some fun Q&A at the end to share. So we'll have Lauren first start out and tell us a little bit about yourself and which city you're from.
Hi guys, I'm Lauren Mittrick-Wood from Chicago. So happy to be here with all of you. And I'm a third generation realtor. I was a founding member in Chicago, been in the business for 18 years now. And I recently founded our own little new group called All of Well. And we've got about 7 agents on the team, 3 full-time staff members. And we work in the Chicago area as well as the suburbs because everyone on our team grew up in the suburbs but has lived in the city and the suburbs. So we're unique in that we can work in both markets, unlike a lot of the agents around here.
Awesome. That is amazing. Olive and Well, that's a really cool name. How did you come up with that?
It actually happened, we were on a family vacation in Greece, and I wanted to take our family name out of the team name because when we had other agents that weren't on our team, that weren't in our family, we wanted to make them still feel welcome and part of the team. So I fell in love with all the olive trees in Greece, and it just kind of happened that Olive Well popped up because we love the slogan, "We're all live well." So we love gifting, and I love all the things that come from the olive tree, like the olive wood and, just different things with gifting and stuff. So it just kind of made sense and it was fun. And yeah, that's kind of where it's spawned from.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Jenna, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Of course. My name's Jenna McKay. I am a real estate agent in New York City. I just celebrated 3 years with Compass, and I also just this week joined a new team. We're an all-female team specializing in downtown neighborhoods as well as the Upper West Side. And I'm really excited because I've been friends with them for a number of years, and it's really nice when you can combine friendship and business. And yeah, really excited for this new chapter.
Yay, awesome. And do you guys have a team name that you've created yet for this new all awesome female group?
We're working on it.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, congrats on that move. That's amazing. So Jessie, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Jessie Scarlotta, and I have been in the business for 15 years. I was one of the founding members at Compass Nashville. So we are about a year and a half in right now. And I am a team leader on our team is called the Southbound Group. And just like Jenna, we are an all female team. And we have 9 women on the team right now. So
I love these great female empowering teams. This is awesome because I have a daughter. So we're raising powerful women. And I know Sarah's got a daughter too. Sarah, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Sarah Dozen Morris. I'm in Miami. And I worked in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, but mostly Miami. I have a very small team. I have one buyer's agent. I'm actually looking for another one, and I just hired my first assistant.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I'm originally from Montreal, Canada, and my background is in property management and mortgages. And I have a 6-year-old daughter who's really funny. So if you guys follow me, you'll probably see.
We love funny. And in case for those who don't know me, my name is Angela Bondetton, and I am an agent in Los Angeles. Been in the business about 9 years. My father was also in real estate, mainly in Taiwan, but he did dabble in some in the US. And so that's how I got started. Without further ado, I want to kick it off because I know a lot of people want to know about what the market is like in each of these different cities. What was it like pre-market and pre-COVID and post-COVID, and what to expect. So I want to bring it back to Lauren, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what the Chicago market was like pre-COVID, now COVID, what to expect, what can they expect in the future? Yeah.
Sure. Like most markets, we're a seasonal market. Nobody likes to move during the harsh winters. So things kick off in the spring, and that's our busiest time of the year. So pre-COVID, we were in line with predictions of being a super busy spring market. As soon as COVID hit, we came to a screeching halt. There was a lot of fear, and a lot of our deals fell under contract. I just remember waking up every morning and being like, oh, another deal died. Oh, another deal died. I think we lost as a team like 6 deals. We were able to revive a couple, but it was like literally just came to a screeching halt. But we were deemed essential. We were able to still show. But again, a lot of people just didn't do much during the first month. And then around April, things started picking up. We started receiving a lot of phone calls. Hey, I think I want to accelerate my timeline, move to the suburbs, or get that bigger space. So what's unusual is the suburbs have seen a big explosion within like a 30-minute perimeter of Chicago. And again, I think it's just those people accelerating their timelines. A lot of people were like, hey, I was going to plan on moving in a year or two, but I might as well just do it now because I can't take advantage of all the city offerings. Mm-hmm. So the last few years, the suburbs were quite deflated, especially as you went as far north as where Jesse and I grew up, or spent, as Jesse said, just spent high school there in Lake Forest, which is about 45 minutes north. A lot of people just didn't want to go that far. So that market had been severely deflated, but it's coming back and we're seeing multiple offers. We've just been so crazy busy. I think it's busier than the normal spring market. But the question that everyone's kind of scratching their heads at is, how long will this last? So we're just kind of like trying to make hay while the sun shines and buyers are, inventory is still low. So it's a seller's market, I would say, but there's still plenty of options out there. So yeah, we've just been super busy, thankfully, and we're just hopeful that it will continue.
That's great. And since some people have accelerated their timelines, have the timelines of the actual escrow gone down, or have they gone faster, or still about the same?
No, it's still about the same. I've been talking to a lot of Compass agents across the country during all of this, and Chicago, I would say, is a pretty normal market compared to places like LA or New York. I've heard from other agents that they're like selling houses in a couple hours and they're getting 10 or 20 offers. Like multiple offers here is like 2 or 3, and it's going for maybe 99% of asking, not 110% of asking. So compared to like some of the coasts, we're pretty, I would say, normal. So, that crazy market is still busy, but I would say it's not as busy as we'll probably hear from some of the other panelists today.
Yeah, that's still interesting though about Chicago. Great. Jenna, do you want to tell us about New York? Oh, I think you just have to unmute yourself.
Jenna, you're muted.
Oh, you just have to.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Technical difficulties. So I was saying that we've had a wild ride of a market for sure in the last, I would say, 12 to 18 months. Starting pre-COVID, we had declining prices specifically in the luxury market. So we consider that 3 million plus here. And that market was going down just because we had an oversupply of condos, and that essentially put the rest of the luxury market in a pinch. And then December hit of 2019, and we saw the largest number of contracts signed, and it seemed like there was a rebound happening because the interest rates were coming down, the inventory was still out there, and buyers were finally starting to think that, you know, this might be the time to buy. Great January, and then all of a sudden COVID hit and everything came, like Lauren said, to a screeching halt. We were not deemed essential, so all showings were completely on hold up until Monday of this week. Oh, hi, Andrew. If you guys could mute your line, please. The other thing I was going to say is during COVID, we were expecting, again, like Lauren said, for things to fall apart. And I think certainly on the luxury side, and I think that's really how we divide our market here in New York, is the 3 million plus side, we saw a lot of renegotiations, a lot of things fell apart. I work with a lot of first-time buyers, so around the 1 million mark. And luckily, I had all of my closings go unhinged. I mean, there were a lot of logistical problems to get through with, you know, notarizations and banks catching up to the new regulations and things like that. I also had 2 buyers go into contract, and actually 3 buyers go into contract, and I sold the listing during COVID from virtual showings. So that was really interesting, and something that I think most buyers in New York weren't really looking to do, but there were a couple people, like in my case, that just decided to brave it out and go for it. And luckily that kept the business moving forward. And now we're hoping post-COVID that with the pent-up demand, that these buyers start coming back.
That's amazing. Yeah, the fact that you had 2 virtual closings from beginning to end is incredible. I mean, you just walk through the properties for these clients, and anything they wanted to see, just completely virtual, never seen in person. And they've moved in since then, correct?
I never saw the properties because we weren't allowed to see them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh,
that was really weird. That was strange, but you know, in certain situations it made sense. Like I had one buyer that had already seen the building and was comfortable with the neighborhood, and I think that makes a really big difference.
Yeah, amazing. That's great. Congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jessie, do you want to tell us about Nashville pre and post-COVID markets?
Sure. So Nashville, I think, is a pretty insulated market. Especially from where you guys are all at, it's still relatively affordable in when you put everything in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-COVID, I mean, I always say white hot. It's just crazy. There are so many people moving here, so many businesses that are investing in Nashville and moving their headquarters down here. And there's no state income tax. The property values are less expensive. The quality of life is, you know, it gets ranked on all these different lists. And so there's just constantly people flocking in. And when the pandemic hit, I mean, there was like a minute where everyone kind of freaked for a second. And I mean, like a week, I feel like it kind of just stopped for a minute while everyone kind of figured out what was going to happen. But there's, like I said, so many people moving in. They're mid-transition and mid-relocation, and the companies are still moving here. Like I keep telling people, like, they're still getting new jobs, they're still getting divorces, they're still getting married, they're still having babies. So like it didn't really slow down for us that much. And just like Jenna said, I mean, we were essential like Chicago was, but we are still doing a lot of the transactions that we're doing are people who are relocating from cities where they're just living a little closer together and they're trying to escape that. And so, especially with the pandemic, you know, they're looking for more space, and with people being able to work from anywhere now, we're having more and more of that. So now that certain states are still closed down and travel is still a little shaky and not very promising and uncomfortable for some people, we're doing a lot of virtual now. And I mean, closing lots and lots of transactions where we don't even meet the clients, you know, except over FaceTime. So that's been an interesting shift, but it's crazy that it hasn't stopped it.
Well, I imagine in Nashville, you've got a lot more land, a lot more house. has that changed since COVID? I would imagine they maybe want more, or that product desire has not changed.
No, I do think people are still wanting more. And the thing that we're seeing too is that even if people have, you know, a 4-bedroom house with an office and things like that, that's with one person working from home potentially. And now you've got 2 people working from home and the bedrooms are all filled up. I mean, I live in the suburbs of Nashville. I've got 3 kids. Most of the people I know and I'm around have multiple kids. So it's not like you can just pop over into a guest room and make it an office all of a sudden. So even the people who still had office spaces are now looking for those residences that have more flex rooms or extra spaces that they can turn. And also like homeschooling. We had to homeschool our kids for, I mean, our school year ended March 6th and it's supposed to end like the beginning of June. So we've had our kids home forever. So even just finding space for them to go and like sit and do their work. And so we are seeing a trend where even if you have space, you still need more space now.
They're still wanting more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Sarah, let's hear about Miami, please.
So Miami is an interesting market. We are a second home market. We're a retirement home market. I'm originally from up north from Canada. So just my whole career here, I've always helped people from Boston, from New York, even people from LA who want to make Florida their primary residence for tax purposes, right? A lot of snowbirds, you know, people that purchase property here and that just come in winter. So a couple of things that I've noticed. So just pre-COVID, market is always very interesting in Miami. We don't have particular times where there's more buyers or more sellers. The only thing is that pre-COVID, you know, we have an oversupply of condos. They built way too many. And a lot of the condos in the older buildings are taking long to sell or have assessments. So that's been kind of an issue that we've had. But during COVID, what happened, the snowbirds didn't go back, right? So the snowbirds didn't go back to New York or Canada. They're like, listen, if I'm going to be quarantined, I'm going to be quarantined in warm weather. So there's been a huge demand for short-term rentals. Investors have been buying more because of the demand for short-term rentals, which are usually available and now they're not. So it's pretty, usually the summer is kind of like our lower season for short-term because of the humidity and the rain. But now people are just like, they're just coming here because they would rather be working. People have the opportunity to work from home, so they'd rather do it in Miami. Another thing that's happened also is that a lot of the condos that were on the market, the larger condos, are now selling like hotcakes. Again, like everyone said, you know, people that are working from home, now they want more space. People that have children, they want more space. So the 3-bedroom condos, which there's not a lot of them, they're flying. Even the 2 bedrooms that were on the market for a long time, when it comes to condos, even single people that just lived in a 1-bedroom, because they're working from home, they don't want to work in their kitchen, right? So they're looking for larger spaces. More investors are coming. Another thing that happened is that a lot of closings were rushed. You know, we were deemed essential. So a lot of people from, again, up north or LA that were supposed to close or wanted to wait until summer, now they were rushing things a little bit more because they were scared of the interest rates, you know, going back up, or they were scared that some loans wouldn't go through. So it was very interesting. I saw during COVID, I did not stop 1 second to work. And I even had clients that were breaking their lease. So that's something that happened a lot. A lot of people breaking their leases, a lot of landlords panicking, looking for a new tenant because some tenants would rather break their lease to purchase, and because they wanted to take advantage of the lower interest rates, which were 3%, meaning that they could usually, like just on average, afford $60,000 more in terms of purchase. So people looking for tenants, people looking for larger homes, even people living in larger homes realizing that they don't need that large of a home, especially if they're stuck home all day. So for some people, it became a bit depressing. So encouraging people to downsize as well. I have a client, we're actually closing on his house tomorrow. And he purchased a condo because he was just like, there's no way that I'm going to live alone in this big house. Stuck there. You know, he wanted to see more people, so he's moving to a condo. So Miami's an interesting market. It didn't stop. And, you know, I just hope that it continues this way. We have great weather, we have great interest rates, and the prices are still relatively low in comparison to some markets.
Wow, that sounds great. I feel like I want to move to Miami now. That's awesome. That's great. Well, Los Angeles market, it kind of echoes a lot of what the other lady said. Pre-COVID, we were still pretty busy. A lot of the homes were still selling in multiples. I, like Jenna, am a first-time home buyer agent to a lot of my clients. And so a lot of that product is still moving. Condos, houses under the 1.5 mark, those are constantly moving with multiple offers. Once COVID hit, quarantine happened, everything froze for 2 weeks. And then as things started to pick up again, we also were deemed essential, so we could start showing in person with masks and gloves. And now the market is picking up. We had low inventory, high demand. It's still the case. We're going to be seeing a delayed spring market happening into summer. So we're going to see a pretty busy summer that's expected of us. I've also noticed in the rental world, we are getting a lot of New Yorkers coming out here. They want to rent for a year just because, what's going on in New York. A lot of them are coming out of Santa Barbara, coming out to Venice, Santa Monica, and checking things out. A lot of the employees that work for the big tech companies, Twitter, they're working from home indefinitely. So these have also expanded a lot of the clients' search parameters. So we're seeing a little bit of that happen as well, which is very interesting. So it'll be a busy summer for everyone, it sounds like. Yeah. So we kind of touched base. Maybe we could just go through quickly what the trend or the forecast is for the end of the year in each of your markets. We'll start with you, Lauren.
Sure. So I would just say the overall general trends have been, there's a lot more efficiency. Not only, like a lot of you had said, you didn't even meet some of your clients, but I feel like a lot of the looky-loos are no longer looking. It's very serious people, and a lot of the agents have been spending a lot of money on doing more virtual tours and Matterports and 3D scans. So a lot of our clients have been able to not go see places because they've kind of seen them through the lens of the computer, which is helping minimize the amount of showings and just creating more efficiencies. So that's been kind of the overall trend, although we have started opening up for open houses and whatnot, so which haven't been that busy. We hosted one last weekend and we had 3 people through, which normally we'd have like 7 or 8. So I don't know if people just don't realize they can go, or they're scared, or what that looks like. But and just like you had said, the summertime here normally dips because a lot of people are out enjoying the weather since we don't have phenomenal weather all year. So we have continued to stay busy, and I think that will continue throughout the rest of the summer. And again, we're kind of curious, like, when will it slow down? Like, will winter be slow when that's normally slow? So we're just not quite sure. But I think that the trend will continue to stay efficiency and very serious buyers, as well as, a lot of people, like I said earlier, are moving to the suburbs a little more quickly than they originally were. And I've had some people calling and asking, hey, I've heard the burbs are so busy. Like, is the city going to get deflated because everyone's making a mass exit for the burbs? And I think the answer is no, because there's plenty of people that just don't want to move to the burbs. And we're still seeing in Chicago multiple offers and not getting these, deals that everybody thought you could get. The deals came like the first couple weeks, but after that, the market has stayed strong. And if you asked me for my opinion on the market when this all happened, I would have said, and I did say on a couple of podcasts, like, I think we're going to be losing some prices. Like, prices will probably deflate a little bit. And it's crazy to think that it hasn't. Like, I'm just shocked. So, but yeah, that's kind of the trend in Chicago.
And are they still requiring masks and everything for the open houses as well, even though you guys are opened?
Yeah, lots of masks, lots of, we're not seeing as many gloves and not as many people like sanitizing like crazy, but definitely a lot of the buildings have restricted in elevators, like no more than 2 to 4 people per elevator ride. So traffic in buildings has slowed down a little bit, but traffic among the city when you're driving around is definitely still light. But yeah, masks everywhere, and people are still acting with pretty extreme caution.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Jenna, how's New York forecasting for the end of the year?
I think our markets are really similar, Chicago and New York, in the way that, pricing wise, I'm not so sure that we're going to see huge discounts anymore. A lot of the experts that we would have on our Compass calls predicted anywhere between 5 to 15%. And the 15% would be more heavily weighed towards the luxury market when we have an oversupply. Now, as things open up and just basing it on my own listings and seeing how many inquiries we're getting, I'm not so sure. It'll be interesting to see. But the fun trends have been downtown people moving uptown to be closer to Central Park, uptown people moving to Westchester, which is like the northern suburb of New York City. And then in Brooklyn, condo people moving to townhouses, just as everywhere else, looking for more space, looking for outdoor, looking for some flex rooms to have an office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could imagine the trend towards the greenery and open air is vital over there in New York.
Definitely.
Awesome. Jesse, how's Nashville looking?
You know, it's funny in Nashville because I feel like when you talk to the real estate professionals, it's all the same comment about how they feel like there's this pent up demand. And just like a lot of markets, spring is one of our busiest times as well. And so there's a lot of sellers who, you know, when it closed down in March, people kind of hesitated to put their houses on the market. And so all of those listings that people would have been listing in March or the beginning of April, which is like our heavy time when inventory really spikes, they kind of held off for a minute to just wait it out and see what's going to work. So from the real estate side, you know, I feel like all the agents are saying pent up demand, pent up demand, pent up demand. You know, Q2 or the end of Q2 and like beginning of Q3 is supposed to be crazy, but we've been talking with our lenders and bringing them into our meetings. And I'm curious to see what the perspective is from their end. And they're singing like a totally different song. And so I'm curious to see how this all pans out. But what I'm seeing from the lending side is that, you know, like our April, for instance, was 1 unit shy from being our best month ever. So like we did not slow down. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, this is great. This is great. You know, we're going to keep going down this route. And then from the lending side, they're saying, you know, all of the damage happened March, April, May. And so we're going to start seeing the consequence of that damage in Q3 and Q4. And then you throw an election into the mix, which election years are always very up in the air. They are telling me that interest rates are going to stay about where they are, maybe dip a little bit, but nothing to write home about. But they are going to stay low because they usually do through an election. So there's not too much. So I'm curious to see what Q3 and Q4 are going to bring because, you know, I think we're long overdue for a market correction. I won't use the R word, but a market correction. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I wish I had a crystal ball, but I feel like I'm seeing two different stories right now, and I'm interested to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, it sounds like we're all kind of echoing a little bit of each other. It's you know, no one has a crystal ball, but it sounds like it's kind of in the similar, you know, forecast, right?
I mean, are any of you guys worried about what Q3 and Q4 are going to look like with all this? I mean, knowing what happened, we made it through it, but what is that going to look like?
Yeah, when the PPP money kind of dries up and, you know, like, I just feel like something has to break, right? But I don't know. Maybe just people are going to continue to shuffle around. Like you said, what sparks movement? Divorce, babies, job loss, death, like these things are all continuing to happen. So,
yeah. Well, Sarah, what's Miami looking like?
So kind of to reiterate what other ladies talked about, you know, a lot of people were expecting discounts during COVID. And what we're seeing now is that all of the buyers that were, let's say, sleeping or were taking a break during COVID, they're all back on the market and very active. So I don't think there's going to be huge discounts. However, when it comes to the condo market, especially with new development or new construction, they are going to have to do some price corrections. And the reason for that is that most of the cash buyers or the buyers that buy in bulk, a lot of them are in different countries like Venezuela and Colombia and just different Latin American countries in Europe. And now with the travel restrictions, some of them cannot come in. And not everyone is going to purchase, you know, from FaceTime or whatnot, especially when people buy in bulk. You still have some of them. I've done it, a couple of realtors have done it, but I'm saying just the vast majority cannot travel to Florida. because the borders are closed. So I do believe that the developers are going to have to make some price corrections to attract local buyers, right? Not just international buyers. I also do believe that people are going to be way more open to FaceTime and to virtual tours. This is something that was part of my business pre-COVID, working with people from out of state. And I've always had people that were a little bit that were not too sure about it, and now they're more open to it. So I'm hoping that more people become open-minded to that and realizing that with a floor plan, with a great video, they can make an educated decision, and if they can fly down for the inspection period if needed. And then finally, pending listings started to surge mid-April. I mean, surging to the point that it became higher than pre-COVID. So what I'm expecting for, let's say, Q3 is a lot of closings. Again, we never know what's going to happen with the interest rates and with the elections, but because of the pending sales we're seeing today, well, since mid-April until today, a lot of closings in the horizon before the end of the year. So a good recovery. We're actually number 10 in the nation in terms of cities that have recovered the fastest.
It's a very, very unique, the way the city is working over in Miami and how the real estate market's happening. So it's very interesting. Yeah, awesome. In Los Angeles, we are, obviously no one has a crystal ball. We don't know exactly what's happening, but as we progress to see every week, we're seeing more than half of all the new listings go into escrow. So things are moving. LA market was always the market with low inventory, high demand. And like Lauren said, someone's always having a baby. Someone always needs to move for job relocation, house getting bigger, divorce, anything, whatever it is. So LA is a constantly moving city. So we foresee it still being active in Q3 and Q4. So that's a good thing for our market. Yeah. Okay, cool. I have some fun questions for the ladies here in each city, and I thought that the guests may want to hear too. The first fun question would be, what does $1 million get you in your city? I know, whopping $1 million. Lauren, do you want to let us know what we can get for $1 million in Chicago?
Yeah, you can get a lot of things for $1 million in Chicago, unlike probably the rest of you guys. But you could buy something that's, 2,400 square feet, duplex down, like a 2-level unit, or a townhouse. You can get a 3 to 4 bedroom condo in the city in a high rise, and also in the suburbs, you can get a pretty nice sized house that's, pretty upgraded with a nice yard. So we have a lot of variety for $1 million. And I would say just in general, our market for $1 million, like 1, 2 and under, is moving very quickly. While some of our listings are upwards 1, 7, 2, 5, and that market is a lot slower. I just ran numbers recently, and we've got 5 years of inventory in one neighborhood, specifically River North Gold Coast, for between 1, 7 and 2, 5. So that's a significant amount of inventory for us. Normally that trends about maybe a year of inventory. So yeah, anything under $1 million is moving significantly quicker, but I think that that's kind of the spark, and that's the domino effect for the upper bracket. So hopefully, as we see things moving in that market a little more quickly, the next few months, the upper bracket will hopefully follow suit.
Awesome. I love that you have options over there. Jenna, what can $1 million get you in New York?
I feel like I'm going to be on the losing end of this fun game that we're playing, unfortunately. But if you're open to neighborhoods, you actually can get a decent amount of space for $1 million. If you're set on Manhattan, you can get a brand new condo in a new development, but it'll be a studio. Mm-hmm. And if you're open to older buildings, you can find a 1-bedroom on around $1 million. On the Brooklyn side, this is where you definitely get a little more space. You can probably find a 3-bedroom co-op in a neighborhood that's not too far from Manhattan. If you want views, you can buy a 1-bedroom waterfront Brooklyn with Manhattan views. So, and here views and proximity to the center of Manhattan is really what drives the price point. So the further you go from transportation, the more you can afford.
Amazing, amazing. I like that. And all of that close to Central Park, close to greenery, some kind of
Oh
park.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The higher up you go in Manhattan, the lower the price points are, unless you're on the exclusive Park Avenue or you're overlooking Central Park, and then the views come into the equation.
Right, right. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. And Jesse, what can we get for $1 million in Nashville?
Well, if Jenna's losing, I'm probably going to win this game because we are in the South and your money goes a lot further here. But $1 million, I mean, you know, just like Lauren was saying, you can either be in the city or you can go out to the suburbs. So if you're in the city, I mean, you can get an amazing historic home in a really walkable neighborhood. Like I pulled one up East Nashville, and it was 4 bedrooms. It was like 4,000 square feet on like a quarter of an acre. A beautiful, beautiful home. Okay. And then if you go out to the suburbs, like the one that I sent Angela it's 5 acres and it's 5,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, like a barn and a little lake. And so it varies. I mean, anything over $1 million is considered luxury in the Nashville market. So you can imagine, you know, how much further that goes in comparison to these other markets. But there, you know, $1 million can also get you new construction right in the heart of the city, a single family home or a horizontal property regime, an HPR is what it's called. And they're very unique to the Nashville market and a few other ones if you haven't heard of them. But your dollar goes a little bit further in Nashville. And we don't have public transportation, so you're driving everywhere. Get used to it.
Driving. Yeah, got it. Thank you. And Sarah, what about Miami? What does $1 million get you there?
So Miami is all about location and what you're looking for, of course. So with $1 million, you can get a very, very large condo with unobstructed water views in Edgewater, maybe a 1 or a 2 bedroom, or something really big, really large in Brickell, which is downtown Miami. You can get a brand new construction townhome in a good area, in a hot area like Coconut Grove or Shenandoah. You can also get a huge single family home in either Doral or Pinecrest, which are very family oriented. And those are all homes that are huge and with a pool and, you know, a large yard. And if you're into investing, you can get 2 to 3 duplexes in growing neighborhoods like Little Haiti, North Miami, or Alapata, which is what I encourage a lot of my clients to do right now because the prices are still very, very low and the property values are increasing in those areas. So it depends what you're looking for.
Awesome. I like it. Options in that city as well. Actually, you have options in all of the cities, including Los Angeles. And LA also, depending on where you go, you can get a single family home for $1 million. There's a great little pocket called West Adams. It's still gentrifying, but it's very up and coming. You can get brand new remodeled construction homes there for $850, even $900. If you're looking in Santa Monica, you could probably get a 1-bedroom condo for under $1 million. Anywhere of the Silicon Beach cities, Venice, Marina Del Rey, Playa Vista, where Google is, for $1 million, you could probably find a 2-bed, 2-bath condo in the 900, just around $1 million, hovering that. So it is doable. In Hollywood, I'm actually bringing on a 3-bedroom, 2015 build construction house for under $1 million. So it is possible, which is great. Yeah. So I wanted to pull up some pictures of deal of the days while we're talking about properties. And I have some pictures of it. I wanted the girls to be able to share that with everyone here. So I'm just going to share my screen and then we can go through it together and then we can go through these ones. All righty. Okay. Hold on 1 second. There we go. All right, deal of the day. Here we go, Lauren.
All right, so I chose this listing because although it has a higher price tag, it is very unique for Lake Forest. Clocking in at 2.45 million. It is completely move-in ready, which a lot of the Lake Forest homes are not. They all need to be like totally gutted. And this home is almost brand new. It's 7 years old and 5,400 square feet on an acre. In East Lake Forest, close to town, but not too far from the highway. So I see Jesse smiling over there. He's very familiar with the neighborhoods. But yeah, I just think it's a deal because it's priced really well. A lot of times in Lake Forest, listing agents will overprice by 100 or 200,000, take these extreme price drops, and then go for 90% of asking it over like 300 days on the market. So we kind of priced this one right on the money, hoping that it will sell quickly. It's only been on for about 10 days. And we have a second showing already. So yeah, this is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I encourage you to check it out on compass.com and explore the home. It's gorgeous.
This is so beautiful. Did you guys grow up in Lake Forest? Is this your upbringing?
There's some nice homes there for sure. Yeah, I grew up there, so did my husband, and I know Jesse spent some time in high school in Lake Forest. But yeah, I particularly love this home because it was interior designer helped, and everything is just meticulous, from the silk curtains to the marble limestone fireplaces.
Beautiful.
Everything gorgeous.
Yeah, just amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's see. Jenna's.
I'm unmuted, right? Okay, guys.
Yes.
So this is a Compass coming soon, not quite yet launched, but launching soon. And it's a really special apartment. It's in a very historic loft building downtown. It's a flexible floor plan in that it's currently laid out as a 3-bedroom, 3-bath with a giant great room that separates the sleeping quarters from the living quarters. And it can be configured into a 4 or even a 5-bedroom really easily. It's almost 2,300 square feet, which for us is quite a big apartment in the city. And the beauty of this is it's been completely redesigned by a famous architect, Thomas Jewell Hansen. He designed one of the big, we call them super talls. It's a 100-story building in Manhattan. So it's a really, really special property. And I think with COVID, the 2 terraces is really something that we're hoping is going to attract buyers to this more city living type loft. So we're really excited to launch it.
That living room looks amazing.
Yeah, those floors and the balcony deck. I mean, that's awesome. That's really city living. I love it. Awesome. Cool. Tennessee. Look at this house. Huge.
So again, we're like flipping that side of the coin. So this is 1.7, so almost half of that. And it's like just over, it's like it's 5.3 acres. You can see that. I mean, you can see the specs there. Almost 5,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms. It's got a barn. And this one it's only a couple years old, but just the finishes and the location. It's in a small town called Thompson Station, which is like it's about 35 minutes south of the city. And when we say 35 minutes, it's like actually 35 minutes. No, traffic's not crazy, especially right now with COVID. So I just think this is a beautiful quintessential Tennessee farmhouse that I wanted to share with everybody. And I even clocked it the other day to the office. I'm like, honey, could we move further south and do this? So I fell in love with it. So yeah, so that's a Nashville suburban 5-acre little mini. We call that a mini farm here.
Is this normal? These acres of land?
I mean, when you go further out, yeah, you can definitely, when you're in like the immediate suburbs, of getting an acre is pretty standard. But then the further you go out, anything is possible.
Wow. It's so beautiful, that land. Alrighty. In Florida.
Hey guys again. So I wanted to share some views with you guys, because when you think of Miami, you think of the ocean, you think of water. So this is a very special unit. It's a combination of 2 units. So it's technically 5J and 5K. Both of them were converted. It is the largest unit in the building, and it's located at the Turnberry in Aventura, which is a beautiful gated community that has its own private marina. So if you have a boat, you can You can park your boat right where you live. And what's also special about this property, not only is it super large, I mean, this is 4,200 square feet for a condo, it also comes with 4 parking spaces and 2 storage units. So this is absolutely unbelievable. It's perfect for a family. It's perfect even for a second home for people who want to come during the winter time. I mean, I love this property. There's water views from every single room of the condo.
Wow, this is the deal of the day. Your dollar goes really far. That's amazing. And does the complex, is it one of those full amenities? You've got, the gym.
If you guys look up the Turnberry and Aventura, it is very well known. There's a golf course. There's a bus that goes to Aventura Mall, which is one of the largest malls here in South Florida. You're 10 minutes away from the beach, barely. And you can see the houses in the background. Those are all $10-15 million homes right there.
Wow. What a view. What a view. That's beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. And this is the 3-bedroom built in 2015 under $1 million property that I was talking about in Hollywood. You're walking distance to all the restaurants on Santa Monica and Sunset. You get views of Griffith from the rooftop deck of downtown LA. You get your own private rooftop, which is really, really come in handy now with COVID. And this is a tri-level kind of living. You've got first level, you've got a bedroom with your direct entry, 2-car garage. Second level, you have the public spaces, the living room, kitchen, and then you have your 2 other bedrooms upstairs, and then of course the rooftop deck. But this is a great steal for under $1 million, practically hardly used, brand new property in Los Angeles. So that's
Seems like a steal.
Yeah. It is a steal. Yeah.
Is that a vending machine in there? Or is it just
they're really, really great wine cabinet, alcohol cabinet.
It almost looked like a vending machine, the way they were standing straight up.
They're fully stocked over there. Cool. Well, I think I just want to end today's webinar with a little fun tip, since with COVID quarantine, although certain cities are starting to open up in different phases, I just thought that maybe you guys can give your fun tip for keeping their sanities with staying at home this summer. Lauren?
So pre-COVID, I pretty much reorganized every drawer during COVID, I guess. I had like a month to just pick through my house. So I've done a lot of like fun decorating things and used a lot of things that I've had around the house as decor. So it's kind of messy in here, but I'll show you. Like this was a table runner that I just kind of like threw on the wall.
Beautiful.
Thanks. I got it when I was in Mexico and I was just sitting in a drawer and I was like, oh, I'll just hang it in my office. And then I was like I did like an Insta Live one day and just like for some decor things. And I have a lot of hats. And so I put them in like a collage in our bathroom and a couple in our bedroom. So just kind of like doing some fun design and decor things have been eating up a lot of my time. And then exercising. I've always said like, movement is medicine, and I think that really carried me through this pandemic, and continuing to stay positive and active and healthy has been a saving grace. So if you don't have a Peloton bike, the app was free for a few months. I'm not sure if it still is, but if it's not free, I think it's like $30 a month. So if you're scared to go to the gym, if it opens again, you can do it out of the comfort of your home. But even just 20 minutes, they have a lot of like cardio exercises, and they even have like cardio dance and yoga and stretching. So I've just been like really trying to do that every day, and it's been great.
That's awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Jenna?
I, like Lauren, did a lot of organizing when it first started, and then I ran out of things to organize. And honestly, one of my favorite things has been having more time to be on Instagram, because before COVID, it was always almost an afterthought to, post some fun things from the day or post more personal things. And now I've had the time to connect with people in a more meaningful way. through DMs, through comments, finding amazing Compass agents like you girls across the nation that I wouldn't have had the chance to meet until we're all cooped up and, have the extra time to reach out to everyone. So that's been really great and such a good way to stay connected, even though, for weeks probably didn't see a soul except for my boyfriend that I live with.
Yeah, the actually Instagram brought us together, Jenna, and so I'm very grateful for Instagram as well. Yeah.
Yes, I have to thank Andrew Jevin for that, who's also a Compass LA agent who I saw joined the call earlier. He brought us together.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Andrew's the best. Oh. Cool. Jessie, what about you?
So I'll be honest and say that I don't really feel like we've had trouble staying sane. If anything, we have completely embraced this forced slowdown. Okay, like I said, we have 3 kids who are all involved in sports and travel sports and school activities and friends' birthday parties. And just so trying to do that and work full time and run a team, and my husband works and travels some, it was just every single night, every hour of the day was booked. And I swear we were ships passing in the night. And the only thing we ever discussed was logistics of the kids or who's going to pick up dinner, who's doing what. And so this is with everything being canceled and everyone being forced to just sit and be has been very healthy for us. I think as a family, we have really reconnected more. And don't get me wrong, having 3 kids home all the time is a nightmare at times. But, we're cooking together and they're playing with their friends more. They're getting along better because they're the only people they have to play with. And you know what I mean? It's just so, but a lot of exercise for us. We have a gym at the house. We do Peloton, Lauren. And so a lot of exercising, a lot of bike rides. And we have talked about how we feel lucky that we've been quarantined in a place like Tennessee where there's wide open spaces and a pool and, things like that to where we kind of haven't felt quarantined because we've been able to go out and explore and still just be our core 5 and be healthy. So we're loving quarantine.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad. Sarah?
I'm gonna talk about what Jessie, just spoke about. It did reiterate our family. It did make us become closer. I mean, my daughter, usually she goes to school, she does a lot of activities. And although it was really, 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 really difficult to do the homeschooling for a couple of months, I'm not going to say that it was easy. It was very hard. She's in kindergarten, so I really had to be very active in what she was doing. One of the good things that came out of it is that I really saw her learn how to read. Because, they were learning it in school, but I really got to witness the progress and whatnot. So that was great. But one of the things that I've been doing, 2 of my favorite things are cooking and traveling, right? So right now I can't travel. And for me to not lose my mind completely, what I've been doing is recreating travels through cooking and doing a whole team. And, for example, I'll do a French meal and play French music and just pull out all of my Paris stuff. Same thing for Italy, I'll play some Italian music, or when it was Cinco de Mayo, I really pulled out, I put the music, and I had a taco night. I mean, that's a way to keep our sanity, just to make it fun at home.
Yeah, I love that idea, recreating the traveling place and having the music. The music can really take you places, which is amazing. And then you have all the aroma of the cooking. That's awesome. Well, I am, usually in the summertime, we get a rush of people coming into LA to visit. Could be the weather or something here. But since we won't have as many travelers and visitors this year, this summer anyway, it's nice to be able to take advantage of our beaches and really, call it home. Since a lot of us can't travel this summer, what better place to be than in LA and be able to enjoy the beaches. And so I have a 13-month-old daughter, and I live in the marina. So I'm very grateful because we can just go outside and walk and see the boats. And so very, very happy for that, and grateful because you're right. Even though we are stuck at home together, it has brought us closer together. So very, very grateful. Well, awesome.
One more thing really quick.
Yeah, of course.
I hope we all know Jeff Saad, who's a Compass agent. in the LA area, but we've been following him a lot more on Instagram, and he's a great chef. He has a cookbook, and we bought it, and we've been also following his like daily recipes, and we've been trying them, and they're really good. And we've also learned to pickle, which is super easy and very tasty. Pickling onions,
Ooh.
our favorite thing.
Oh my gosh. Is it from Jeff's cookbook?
No, we did it. Well, I don't know if they're in there, but we've just found it from a couple other cookbooks, but it's just
cool.
super. He definitely does some pickling. We've done some of his pickling. So random.
We'll have to try some pickling over here too. Well, thank you. If are there any questions for panelists here from any of our guests, if they want to ask any questions about each city? Any questions? Yeah, you can. Oh yeah, Lauren, if you can put his name in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, doesn't look like we have any questions. This was recorded, so I will share the recording with everyone. I will also have each of the ladies' social media, so you can follow them through their adventures this summer and see their listings and their beautiful properties. I want to thank all of you ladies so much for being on this panel with me today. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Angela. It was
So
great
much
to
Everyone.
hear from
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
I
Thank
just put it in
you.
the chat. If anyone needs it, you can always email me too.
Perfect. Got it.
That's his cooking website, I think.
Awesome.
Just Google them, but that should take you to where you need to
I
go.
100% click that link like immediately.
He's so cute. He's really fun, great personality, great realtor. He's spoken on a lot of panels at Compass too. So he's fun.
Awesome. Yeah, Jeff is great. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Guys, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.